Hey everyone, I am currently in Cody, Wyoming. I've left the state of Montana now and I've moved south to Wyoming. And before I get into this, I just want to say that Route 212 from Red Lodge is probably the best drive I've ever done. It is absolutely stunning. I wish I could have stopped taking photos, but my cameras were deep in my hiking backpack and I was losing light fast. I've just come off 3 days in the mountains with the Beartooth mountain guides. Tried to climb Granite Peak, didn't quite make it, got really close. What we did was we hiked out for the last 3 days and we're finished today. We started climbing pretty much straight off and managed to get to Mystic Lake, which is a lake with a hydroelectric dam on it, and it's really beautiful. And then we had to kind of skirt all the way around the lake, which took quite a while because it's about 3 miles or so. And we started to see some pretty cool little creatures like pikers running around on the rocks. And there was some marmots there as well. They're much bigger than the pikers. They're kind of like a beaver without its big tail. When we got to the end of Mystic Lake, we reached Kaberi Creek, which we then started to follow up for quite a long time up some fairly steep ground. So after following Huckleberry Creek, we managed to get to Tackleberry Lake, but just before that we had to go over quite a big boulder field, the first of many. Before long we started to hear thunder up in the distance. So because we were unable to get to Princess Lake, we just camped by the side of the trail and had a slow start the next morning while we had to wait for lots of our clothes to dry on rocks. Climbing out of Princess Lake now, where we would have camped last night. Heading up this pretty rocky section to go to Avalanche Lake over there. So I've just got to cross all these rocks. It's a pretty nasty looking thistle. We're at the first snowball lake right now. Going to make our way around the edge. So leaving behind the third snowball lake. We're heading off that direction. Try and get to Avalanche Lake and have some lunch. So this is the first bit of a snowfield. Having to go across. It's not too big. Once we got up the snowbank, we got a pretty nice view of the storm tower. I got my first good look at Granite Peak, but then the storm clouds started to appear and we decided to camp where we were instead of trying to make our way around Avalanche Lake. Well, the thunderstorm lasted a good 5 hours or so with the rain. And if you look up on Tempest Mountain, this view had some fresh snow. We decided to wake up at 2 AM the next morning, but even that evening it was starting to look pretty bad for a summit attempt.
Well, it is 2 AM and it is actually quite windy. It's windy down here, so it'll be very windy on top. We will see how far we can get with this wind.
The wind kept becoming stronger and stronger, and especially at higher elevations it was becoming pretty apparent that we weren't going to be able to get to the summit of Granite Peak that day. But we managed to make our way around the boulder field of Avalanche Lake and decided to see the sunrise on the slope of Granite Peak itself.
So we decided to head back to camp, and from there we decided to camp at Princess Lake. Once we got there, we decided to push on to Mystic Lake, and once we got there, we decided to keep pushing on all the way to the car and come home a day early after a really fantastic 3 days out hiking around Granite Peak.
Okay, so I'm freshly showered now after 3 days in the Montana countryside. I managed to get all the bug spray, the suntan lotion, the dirt and the sweat out of my hair. I'm covered in bug bites, but I had a really fantastic time. Didn't get to make it to the top of Granite Peak, but we had a good attempt. Too bad the wind was too strong. We would not be able to hear ourselves on the ropes, and the ropes would have probably got blown all over. So I want to say a big thank you to Beartooth Mountain Guides. They are really great people, and I had a pretty wonderful experience